Greetings, gamers, and welcome back to Rust. I am your host, Vortex, and this is another episode of the Soaring Spyglass. Today, I have a very special guest with me. Another fellow creative on the Art of Rust server, DemonDevs, has graciously allowed us to, or has joined us today, to give us a tour of their base for the December 2025 Art of Rust wipe. Welcome, Demon. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm DemonDevs or Devs, or most commonly on Rust, I'm actually known as DD. I've been playing Rust, I think, since about the end of 2023, but I started on 2X to learn the game and then transferred to Vanilla, which I still play. And I hopped on the Art of Rust server about 2 months ago in October because I really liked some of the prompts that they had and have kind of found a little home here in between my Vanilla wipes. But yeah, usually when I play Vanilla, I usually join a wipe late and I decay base hop. I think that's one of my favorite things to do. And then on Art of Rust, this month I focused on building, but usually I focus on my painting.
Excellent, excellent. What kind of paintings do you like to do?
So far I would say the closest theme that I've done is kind of more realistic, I guess. I've done like a blade of grass with morning dew hanging on it. I tried to do a realistic painting of Dome with a tear through it showing an eyeball that I did for the October Eye Dome prompt. But yeah, usually it's more realistic than anything, but I have some other random ones thrown in there too.
Excellent. I have seen some of your work. One of my favorites that I think you've done is the watercolor painting, the Japanese style of the bonsai tree, I believe it is.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna try and do a couple more like that. That one was actually probably painted in about 2 hours. It was a procrastination piece for another player on the server last wipe, and I had about 2 hours right before the tour started to fill an empty wall for him, and I knocked that out. So I am going to try and do more in that style, but so far I haven't yet.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to that. All right. Well, we don't have very long until this month's wipe, so we're going to get a very special last second look at your base. So let's go ahead over. We'll take flight. And then on the way out, just tell us a little bit about what inspired you this wipe, what the build's going to be about. And yeah, when we get there, just point anything out that you'd like us to take a look at.
It's locked. I can't get in. So for this wipe, I wanted to really push myself and kind of do something that's really outside of my comfort zone. I've always only ever built bases or a house that I could put my art in. I never really did an RP build or tried to do an RP build. And this wipe, I figured with it being Christmas, the theme would be holidays or snow or something winter related. And I thought that one of the best RP builds that I could try and do is make Santa's Village. And so I kind of decided to do that. And I had an idea of like a toy shop and his house and Mrs. Claus's pies. But then the idea really grew. And I think that part of it was seeing the map and the different land formations. And then also part of it was because I just had so much fun with it that I just kept adding to it. I originally was going to build on an island down at the bottom, and it was really flat. And I had probably 4 or 5 buildings planned out in my head. and I mapped it out a little bit on the island, and you have that like really fresh white buzz where you find your spot and you get really excited and you start to put down your footprint, and then you get to the point where like, yeah, okay, this is cool, I'm now going to go and explore a little. So I decided to explore, and in exploring I saw all these rocks that you can see now that have different elevations and different plateaus, and I really thought, okay, now I want to find somewhere else, because I figured that having the heights and the different depths would really bring the village to life and make you feel like you are actually going through a area that's not very sterile feeling, which is kind of what I came to feel like my island felt like. So I flew around a little bit, and I actually found a spot on the other side of Train Yard there, um, but it was building blocked, and so I got really disheartened, but kept flying around, and I found this spot, and it has two flat areas with a pathway leading up to it, and then a little tiny spot kind of tucked away as well. And I really thought I could work with it, so this is what I came up with. You've got just on the right hand side there, you've got the Welcome Center and Sleigh headquarters, and then this right here that we're hovering over is all of the shops. You've got a tea shop, a toy shop, clothing shop, music shop, and then a pavilion. And I think my favorite part of this entire build is actually that campfire, because the logs that are around it you can sit on, which you can't do in vanilla. So I had a lot of fun working with the admins to get that set up, and it's actually been my favorite place this whole wipe to just sit in AFK. And then just around you've got
So these logs below us you can sit on.
And... yeah. Yep, you can sit on these logs right below us. And one thing that you can't hear right now is most of these buildings have sounds associated with them. So like the tea shop has sounds of coffee shop, and the toy shop has sounds of kids in a toy shop, and when you walk in those sounds start, but you can also hear them when you're sitting on the logs, and it really helps bring this area to life, I think. It feels like you are surrounded by people, and the mannequins as well truly help with that.
I will say you gave me a lot of inspiration for this wipe when it came to the sound development and the feel of it being alive.
Yeah, I knew I wanted it in Santa's workshop, but then it just worked so well that I was like, I've got to do this elsewhere, because it really pulls you into the atmosphere, and it truly made it immersive. So this right here is, you've got the delivery depot. Whenever you guys place any special orders, all of the stuff comes from here. You've got your drones and your Christmas tree and the people shopping here. And then you've got Mrs. Claus's pie shop that faces the tree, which was not as challenging as I thought it would be to do. I thought that was going to be one of the biggest challenges, but I just had to build up and just kind of play around with it. And right across from Mrs. Claus, you've got the workshop, which when you walk in, you start hearing hammering and sawing, and there's igniters and Tesla coils that, as you walk throughout, it triggers. So it really feels like there's elves working away and making stuff. And when you're in there, you hear it on the left-hand side, and as you move around the building, it stays on that side where they are working. So it's very atmospheric, and I think that is the part that I'm proudest of with this build, is making it so immersive and so atmospheric, but that building in particular, I'm just really proud of it.
Yeah, doing that in the tour was very nice, going through and just being guided by the sounds really helped to just kind of get you through it instead of being caught in one spot too much. The sounds really made you want to continue to move instead of just sit. So well done on that. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it was really fun seeing people react to the sounds on the tour as well, and even people that have come throughout as they run through and just seeing them walk in and then just turn to the left, like, wait, where's that sound coming from? It's been really, really fun to see, and I think one of my favorite compliments that I've gotten about this build is somebody actually ran into the toy shop right there, and she said that it made her feel nostalgia from when she was a kid and going into a toy shop at Christmas time. She said you just got organized mess everywhere, but it was all there and it made her feel young again. And I think that that was one of my favorite things to come from this wipe, because like I said, it's my first RP build. It's my first time doing anything like this. And so to have somebody say that it brought about some nostalgia just was, it was really nice.
That's absolutely wonderful. Getting the what you want out of the build is always a wonderful thing. Well, do you have any final
Yeah,
words for us with this build in particular?
I won't be doing something like this next wipe, that's for sure. No. Um no, I just had a lot of fun with it, and I'm very proud of what I did. And although I say I'm not going to build something like this next wipe, it's because I want to focus on painting again. I have a lot of ideas that I do want to get on canvas, but I don't think this will be the last RP build that I do, because it was just so much fun. And people responded really well to it, which is always very nice to see.
I agree. It's always great to get the emotional reaction that you want, especially as an artist, regardless of painting or building. Getting that emotional reaction in people, I think, is what art's all about.
Yeah, and I really liked when you came over, and because I'd seen your build, I didn't actually realize it was your build. You came over and we talked about sounds and everything, and then a little while later, I went back over and seeing how you implemented it after seeing how I implemented it was really cool too, because the really great thing about this server, I think, is that people do see what others do and help each other with ideas, and it doesn't feel like theft ever, which is really nice, because a lot of people can get kind of possessive about ideas, which is kind of odd to me, but I really liked watching your build grow as well from what you were seeing with my build and the sounds that we incorporated.
I really do appreciate that you took it that way, because that's really what it was meant for. It wasn't, I definitely didn't want to do the same type of workshop sounds, but that feeling that you were able to instill in it is something that I really did want to emulate. So I'm glad that that felt good for you. I do have one final question before we land. What is your plans for next wipe? I know we don't have a theme yet, but any major plans for next wipe?
No, I keep saying to myself, I'm just gonna put down a box and paint in my box and put up my pictures and my art, but I'm probably actually not going to do that, because I hate living out of boxes. I like having depth and I like having interesting angles and things to see, and so while I like to think that I'm just going to do a box, I'm probably not. I just don't know what I'm going to do yet. I think once I hear the theme, maybe something will come to me, but currently in my head, it's a box.
A box with paintings. Well, who can argue with that? Do you have any plans or specific paintings that you want to do this one next wipe?
Oh yeah. So I have an idea of a girl holding a flashlight in kind of evening time, but the beam of flashlight shows nebula's space. Um, and then I have an idea of a hot air balloon breaking through the clouds, and the balloon is made out of clouds itself. And then I also am in the process of painting an elephant. Elephants are
Ooh,
my favorite creatures, so I've been, yeah, I started it in November. I did not touch it at all this wipe. So I really want to get back to doing that because I am very excited to see how that one's going to turn out.
Yes, I'm super excited to see that as well. I'm always inspired by everybody's paintings here, and especially your realistic ones. It's it pushes me so hard to want to learn shading and want to learn contrast so much more than I do. So um, I do hope that you keep up with it because it is very inspiring, and it's just what makes this server so great is all of the different art styles and different approaches. I think everyone doing their own thing instead of all trying to collaborate all the time is really what makes everything here special.
Oh, for sure. And I love, so I keep referring to October, but October had prompts. And the Discord server the last couple months has had a few prompts, not quite daily, but regularly. I love seeing a prompt come up and all the different variations of that prompt. It's one of my favorite things when it gets posted in the Discord, or you go around galleries, or however people display it, is seeing the creativity that comes from the same idea, or even an idea that's because of that prompt. I I love that about this server.
Agreed. I definitely need to get into the prompts in the future. I did one Advent painting and one Secret Santa so far, but I definitely want to do more as time goes by. So I will be looking forward to that. But thank you
Yeah,
so
I
much.
find it useful because sometimes. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're
I
fine.
was
Go
going
ahead.
to say, sometimes I have an idea. I have an idea, but I don't want to paint that idea, so then I look for other ideas to paint, and the prompts are just, they're simple, but they're also not simple.
Yes, and how each person interprets that, I think, is also what is astounding. Is how simplistic some people can be, and then how others take it to another level because oh, I didn't even think about putting it in those terms.
Yeah. It's my favorite thing about this server is all of the creativity.
Well, here is to another year of creativity. Thank you so much for joining me today, Devs. I really do appreciate the interview. The flyby of your base was amazing, and I wish we could have gotten some of those sounds. But your base is in the full tour that I did post. What was your tour number?
Tour 19, I believe. Tour 19.
Tour 19. And I do have all of those chapters. So if anybody sees this and wants to actually experience that, you can go and check out Tour 19 on the Full Rest Tour build. But otherwise, thank you so much. We are 20 minutes away from official wipe. All of this is about to disappear, and we will start a new year on a new server. Thank you all for joining us. Devs, thank you so much. And that will be the Soaring Spyglass for today.